What's up, everyone? This is my entry into Eastwood for Life fans 100 subscriber contest, where we had to pick our top 3 favorite films. Number 3 for me kind of turned out to be a tie. It was really hard to narrow it down to 3 movies, so I kind of picked 4. But for number 3, I picked 2001: A Space Odyssey and A Clockwork Orange, both by Stanley Kubrick. I first watched these as a teenager after watching something on TV talking about Clockwork Orange. I don't really remember what it was. I just kind of remember seeing, like all these people in crazy costumes in some sort of weird futuristic world, and it was, super violent and banned. So as a teenager, that sounded awesome, and I knew that I had to find it and watch that movie. As far as I can remember, that's the first Stanley Kubrick movie that I ever saw. I didn't actually watch 2001 until probably a couple years later when I was making my way through all of Stanley Kubrick's movies that I could find anyway. 2001, blew me away from the beginning like it does everybody else. Just the visuals, kind of the lack of dialogue or a coherent story, just made it something completely different. These are both movies that I can sit down and watch whenever. Actually, these are 2 of the very first Blu-rays that I ever bought whenever, I first started getting Blu-rays. But, I think these are both great examples of how less can be more sometimes when it comes to story, at least on the surface level. But they're also, they both create a world that no matter how, out there or kind of strange it may seem, it feels really real, something that you can definitely believe in. So number 2 for me is a movie that I didn't discover till I was an adult, actually, but it's one that, I was blown away by completely, and that's Michael Cimino's Heaven's Gate. This is the Criterion version, which is, as far as I know, the only way that you can get the director's cut, at least in the United States. But, I understand why people don't like this movie. It is really long, and it is kind of boring at parts, especially, the very beginning. I didn't really like it all. I was thinking, this is probably not going to be for me, but once you get past that and really into the story, it's, a fantastic movie. As somebody who grew up watching Westerns, all the time on an almost daily basis, with my dad, he would get home from work and turn on the TV, go to the Western movie channel, and we would just watch Westerns, every day it seemed like. But, this was something really refreshing to see, a Western, that was kind of more realistic, I guess, in a sense. That didn't kind of, play it up for, didn't glamorize it, I guess. But, at the very least, this movie is, a marvel to look at. It's absolutely beautiful. The cinematography from Vilmos Zsigmondt, is gorgeous. The sets, the hundreds of extras, all elaborately costumed. It's amazing. This is a film that really looks like it was filmed at the end of the 1800s. It's an absolutely beautiful film, and one that I think everybody should give a shot at least once. And then, last but not least, at number 1, my, all-time favorite film is John Carpenter's The Thing. I don't really know what there is to say about this movie that hasn't already been said. This is a beloved film by many people, and rightly so. Growing up, my dad, we watched a lot of things, not necessarily just Westerns, but one thing that he always seemed to like, whether consciously or not, I don't think he probably knew who John Carpenter was, but he always seemed to like John Carpenter's films. Like, I remember anytime that Big Trouble in Little China would be on TV, me and him would be watching it, guaranteed. That was just all of his movies we really, really liked. Again, whenever I was a teenager and just kind of watching anything I could get my hands on, I found out about The Thing, and I fell in love with it, from the very beginning. Just the score and just everything, instantly sets a mood of, this is going to be very intense, and it definitely is. Uh, but later on in life, this movie became even kind of more special to me. This is actually the first movie that my wife and I ever watched together. She wanted to watch a horror movie, and myself, at the time not really being a horror fan, the only one I really had readily available was The Thing, and she had never seen it, so I was like, okay, we have to watch this. And, she thought it was fantastic, so immediately, I knew she was the one. But, it's just a great film. I love it. Can always watch it, never get tired of it. This is the Scream Factory Collector's Edition, which is pretty much as good as it gets for us here in the States. It's got tons and tons of special features, including even the TV version of it, which is kind of, cool to see. But it's also got, The Thing, Terror Takes Shape, a great documentary with tons of interviews with all kinds of people about the movie. But, just, great release of a fantastic film, my favorite film. But those are my top three, or I guess four favorite films. I'd like to congratulate Eastwood4life fan on reaching well over 100 subs at this point, and thank you for setting this contest up. The prizes are unreal. So good luck to everybody, and thanks for watching.